How's it going, everyone? It's Avi from Earth 1000. Today is June 3rd, 2020. As today, we're going to take a look at Tropical Storm Cristobal, which just made landfall earlier this morning. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you like weather-related videos. If you enjoy this content, make sure to like if you like this video. And make sure to share with friends and family who are interested. So let's take a look at Cristobal, which obviously, like I said, just made landfall as 60-mile-per-hour storm. And it is currently 50 miles per hour as it weakened as it entered land. And you could easily see, and you could see in this IR satellite imagery where we see earlier during the loop, we see those thunderstorm cloud tops a little bit higher. And if you don't know, the markers represent higher clouds, which ran stronger, more potent thunderstorm activity is going on within this storm. And as you go into the later time frame of this loop, those cloud tops start to lower. There's less, you can see less higher cloud tops as it's representing that these thunderstorm bands are weakening, and there's less convection happening as of late, which is expected because this is currently going over land and it's losing contact with the warm sea surface temperatures of the Gulf that would otherwise strengthen it and provide this storm moisture. So it's expected that this will lose some of its moisture and strength as it moves over land. But however, this is still expected to a lot of rain over Mexico, whether it's a tropical storm, tropical depression, or even less than that, just a tropical disturbance. So in Mexico, don't keep your guard down just because it won't be a tropical storm in the near future, because this will still dump a lot of rain and have just enough contact with the Gulf of Mexico to where it could dump a lot of rain over a very long period of time. This area, especially since it's very slow moving. But other than that, you see the dry air just to the northwest of it, which is as a result of this trough that's currently centered over the southeast. That's bringing the same dry air towards the backside of it. It was common in the northern hemisphere near the westerly winds and near and just in the northern hemisphere in general. So this might hinder it as we head into the future, because this storm is gonna absorb a lot of dry, stable air, which will obviously hinder it from really starting up any convection that could otherwise potentially strengthen the tropical storm. But as for the near future, this storm is expected to weaken as it moves over land, and it's going to move over land very slowly, and the center of circulation is going to lose contact over water, so that'll greatly limit its strength in the future. So let's currently look at how the storm is doing right now and its projected path. So as you can see, the maximum sustained winds are 50 miles per hour, which weakened since its landfall at 60 miles per hour, which is expected, obviously. And you could see the movement is southeast at 3 miles per hour, which is very slow. Usually tropical cyclones move between 10 to 15 miles per hour. So when we're talking about this storm only moving 3 miles per hour, and it's going to linger over the same area for days, you're gonna see a lot of rain in this area as a result of this slow movement over the next several days, which is definitely unfortunate since Mexico, Guatemala, and other Central America countries already dealt with a lot of rain from this. So you might be asking why this storm is moving southeast, and it's the result of a ridge that's currently over Mexico that's pretty much steering this storm a little bit to the south. However, this ridge is still isn't strong enough to really steer this fast enough to where it could move away from Mexico. So unfortunately, it's going to be a very slow moving storm as a result. And currently the steering currents are fighting to take this storm a certain direction. We have a trough here that's currently trying to bring this storm up to the north, and it's evident because you see these thunderstorms just around Florida, pretty much getting steered to the north and east. So this trough is trying to bring Cristobal to the north, which it eventually will. And then we have this ridge that's building over Mexico that's currently trying to bring it south. So far the ridge over Mexico is slight winning spell, but as this trough gets lower and more south and gets closer to this storm, eventually it'll carry this up to the north to later impact the United States in the future. So let's look at the GFS model to see what it's current, to show you what I'm actually talking about. So this, as of right now, I would say the storm is a little bit more overland, but for the most part, the GFS at this current moment is getting a general idea of where Cristobal currently is. So you see there's a ridge over the western portion of the United States. There's and then you can see that the anomalies here are slightly above average. However, it isn't, like, compared to the rest of the United States, it's still lower than that. The anomaly is still lower than the others. So there's a visible trough right here. There's a break between two ridges, one over here and one over here, and that will allow Cristobal to begin to move north as a result of this trough dipping down. As you can see, these contour lines represent the trough right here, and that'll steer Cristobal to the north, along with this ridge that's going to enhance the winds to the north. That'll push Cristobal to the north eventually. And then but how about the strength of this? How about the strength of Cristobal? How strong that storm will exactly be? So let's currently look at the 200 millibar wind to get a better to get a better idea of where the storm exactly will go. So you can see that. Let me bring this back to current time. So the GFS was pretty accurate with the strength forecasts, because when it made landfall, it was around 993 millibars, maybe like 994 or 5, but for the most part, the GFS model was right in terms of strength forecast. And then as we move forward, it pretty much dissipates as it moves over land, because the GFS is taking this to dissipate. But the thing is that the energy from Cristobal will still be there, and eventually this trough will steer up north back into the Gulf, and allow some of this energy to re-strengthen in the Gulf, even as Cristobal, the main portion of Cristobal, dissipates. Since Cristobal is currently in a gyre, there's a lot of energy surrounding it, and you can see by 3 days ahead, it redevelops in the Gulf. And then as we move forward, the GFS isn't really too lenient on developing this, and I think it's the result of a lot of dry air that's going to be located in this region as a result of a trough passing by. Right here is the trough, and then you're going to see eventually it dips down far enough to where it'll eventually steer Cristobal to the north. And usually on the back side of troughs, there's a lot of dry air within it. So this is going to get entrained in quite a bit of dry air and probably wind shear, because it seems like another small upper level low develops just to the west of it, which will enhance that north wind and increase the wind shear over this, which will as a result hinder this from developing. So the GFS isn't too lenient on developing this. And then while the European over the past several days has been leaning towards the forecast that this will develop a little bit more, it's still I think the European is also leaning more and more towards this storm not really strengthening that much beyond the tropical storm, maybe a weak tropical storm. As you could see in this, let me find it. Let this load up. And And you could see it's a 9. So the European, while it's still stronger than the GFS, it isn't much stronger like it was before. So the European is taking this to make landfall, but it expects the core of Cristobal that we're currently seeing to remain this not dissipate and like still remain a tropical storm, or at least at the very least a tropical depression, unlike the GFS where it expects it to dissipate and a new piece of energy develops into the Gulf. It's the European, on the other hand, is taking more of a is leaning more towards the direction that Cristobal won't really dissipate and move back into the Gulf and re-strengthen, which is why the European is leaning towards a more stronger Cristobal storm, because unlike GFS, it's not really dissipating it over Mexico. So we're gonna see, so the European is expecting a stronger storm as a result, and even as it moves to the Gulf, it's expecting it to strengthen a little bit up to a 989 millibar storm. Not as strong as before, where the European was taking a 981 millibar storm just off the coast of Louisiana a couple of days ago, but it's still a decently strong tropical storm. However, not a hurricane, which is definitely good news. If we take a look at the spaghetti models currently, you can see that the European assembly has vastly altered its strength forecast, while the track forecast is still like intact. That was because like the older models were saying, this is gonna impact mainly Louisiana, maybe possibly the extreme eastern portions of Texas, and maybe the Gulf states like Mississippi, Alabama, but it isn't taking as strong of a storm, which is good news. And then the GFS is also taking mainly a Louisiana, straight towards Louisiana track with a weaker storm. And if we take a look at the expected forecast track and strength track from the Weather Channel, it's expected to become a 65 mile per hour storm, but just off the coast of Louisiana. So at the very least, however, that code extends from Houston all the way to Alabama. So there's a lot that could change, especially 5 days out. And remember, only 2/3 of the time a tropical cyclone stays within the cone. So this could easily go beyond the cone. So for those maybe in the panhandle of Florida to Alabama, or even the western coast of the Gulf like Texas, I wouldn't just keep your guard completely down just yet, because this forecast could still change. However, both of the computer models are still leaning towards this making landfall in Louisiana and Houston, and as of right now, that seems to be the most likely chance of landfall as of right now, but it could change, so keep that in mind. And in terms of the strength, we're expecting maybe a stronger tropical storm. However, this could ease a hurricane seems less likely at this point. But I guess that's it for this video. I thank you guys for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more, and yeah, have a good day.